It would help if I pushed the button to start, but that's between me and
I thought maybe you
mic.
broke it. That's why you don't give mechanical advice on this show.
That's right.
If the button is too much of a problem, then toolbox is out of the question.
Yeah, I'm holding this mouse and I'm thinking, is it righty-tighty or is it lefty-loosey? And the whole time, it's neither. That's the problem. Here we go.
Hi, Larry. Mark from Orlando. I've got a 2007 F-150 with 125,000 miles on it. I keep getting the dash lights coming on, the anti-lock brake light and the brake light and the tire pressure light. They'll be coming on and off at different times randomly. I was wondering how you could help me out with that. Thank you very much, Larry.
Well, this kind of goes back to the question that we had about an Explorer earlier in the first hour. There's a few things that can cause you to have an intermittent, brake catastrophe lights come on. You know, in your case, you might be dealing with something as simple as a front hub bearing assembly that's starting to fail on it. What will happen is a bearing doesn't have to be worn out to the point where it sounds like a studded snow tire going down the road to be defective. You can have an issue to where a bearing can wear a little bit, and when it does, it allows the hub bearing assembly to run off of alignment just a little bit. And inside that hub bearing assembly, where the bearings are, there's an exciter ring in there. And you've got, at the top of it, you'll have a magnetic speed sensor that actually goes into that. And what that thing does is it reports back to the ABS module to tell if it's grounded out, if it's stationary for some reason or other, because it's looking for a wheel lockup. You see what I'm saying? So what will happen is if there's any debris in there, old grease or metallic of any sort, it will cause that speed sensor to short out, basically, or ground out. And when it does, it'll turn all those crazy lights on. You know, best bet is to probably have the system scanned. There's a few possibilities that could cause that light to come on. One could be the ABS control module itself, you know, which is what, you know, sends brake fluid pressure to what wheel. Other thing, you know, electronically there could be something wrong with it. You know, and these are the types of things that happen, like on an 07 model vehicle where nobody has ever bothered to do a brake system flush on their car or truck, and you've got, you know, 10, 20 plus year old fluid in the brake system. That's not a good thing, as it'll cause valves to stick in the ABS module, and next thing you know, you're dealing with World War III. So brake system flushes are very, very important. You do not want to ignore those. At least every 3 years or so, needs to have a brake system flushed. Or at least if you have brake pads or brake work done, make sure the system gets flushed at the same time. You'd be surprised how many shops don't even recommend that when they're doing brake service on a vehicle. They'll put new rotors and pads on it and send you back out the door and leave the same old worn out brake fluid in the system. And brake fluid absorbs moisture right out of the air. Moisture gets in the brake fluid, it goes to the very bottom of the system. What's at the very bottom of your system of your brakes? Your calipers and wheel cylinders and ABS modules, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So replacing the brake fluid in any car about every 3 years is a very good maintenance situation. If you don't do that, at least make sure that service gets done whenever you have brake repair done, like brake pads, you know, that sort of thing. If you do that, chances are you'll probably be all right. On your vehicle, front wheel hub bearing assemblies is one of my things that I would probably suspect. Other one is a brake ABS module. The other one is the exciter ring and your rear differential speed sensor. Those are things on that older Ford truck that could all give you a problem. Best bet is start with a scan. Have it scanned, see if that'll narrow it down a little bit. And once you get some codes, if you'd like, send those codes from the scan to me, Larry@magicmechanic.com, and I'll tell you the next step where you're going to need to go from there. We appreciate your open mic.